Welcome to Talking Cybersecurity with HMS Industrial Networks.
Hi, my name is Jason Block with HMS Industrial Networks. I am the Solution Manager for our Industrial Internet of Things products, and today we want to discuss how you can enhance user security using multi-factor authentication. So in a previous video, we discussed the importance of developing strong passwords, and we even talked through the math behind how long it would take to challenge or crack long passwords in there. But even the best user credentials, strong passwords, these type of things there, oftentimes can be compromised. And this is most commonly compromised through a form of social engineering that's called phishing. Phishing is a way of getting a user to basically volunteer their credentials by creating some sense of urgency. You need to log into this account, which is a fraudulent link. Then you provide your user credentials, and then that is basically harvested by hackers to be used in a variety of different ways. So phishing is the most common way for hackers to basically get access to user credentials. And this has had some significant impacts in the market in recent years. So one of the recent attacks that occurred, where most of the people are quite familiar with, is the Colonial pipeline hack that occurred. And this is a case where the passwords weren't cracked, but the credentials were actually acquired. So eventually these credentials were delivered via the dark web to hackers that use this, and they used a VPN connection into Colonial's billing system to inject ransomware. So due to this ransomware injection, the pipeline was actually shut down for 7 days because Colonial couldn't bill. So that created significant economic challenges, created panic buying. So these things, user password compromise can have significantly negative impacts on both basically individuals and companies and anybody who would be targets of hackers and these type of things. So one of the ways to help protect against these type of intrusions, or cases where potentially a user and password may get compromised, is through the use of what is called multi-factor authentication. So how multi-factor authentication works in the process is that I enter my username and my password, my credentials, as I normally would to get access to a website or something along those lines there. Multi-factor authentication adds a second step of verification that's in the middle here. And this is typically based off of 3 factors. One of those is called the adherence factor. Adherence is something that is intrinsic to you as a person. So for example, your fingerprints. So if I use a fingerprint scanner, that could be used as a means of multi-factor authentication. I enter my credentials, I have to scan my fingerprint, and now I get access to the system that I need to get access to. So that's the adherence factor, something that is, once again, very specific to the person who is the user in this case. The other part of it, and this is the most commonly used form of multi-factor authentication, is what is called the possession factor. It's something that you own personally. So, common ways of doing this would be, for example, delivering an SMS message to a cell phone, or the delivery of a code to a email that you have to enter in to get basically access to it. Or the third would be through an application, some form of authentication application that the user owns, that the way of basically generating that code, so that basically that creates the second step. The third, what is called the knowledge factor. So most of us are familiar with things like security questions when we're accessing websites, oftentimes financial websites, these type of things there. So knowledge is based off of something that you intrinsically know as a person. That would be very specific to you. So this could be your mother's middle name. It could be the birth date of your oldest child. These type of things. Something that is created during the account creation that is very specific to you as a person. So these are the 3 typical means for doing multi-factor authentication. So based off of these, basically once these factors have been validated, typically one of these 3, then essentially this creates a second layer there. And then this gives us access to whatever system we have there. And this is something that at HMS we recommend to pretty much all of our customers and people who use our products, is that employ multi-factor authentication on anything that you own there to help provide that extra layer of protection. And in fact, in the case of Colonial Pipeline, if they had implemented multi-factor authentication, even with compromised credentials in that kind of scenario, they would be able to blunt that attack, because the hacker necessarily would not have had either the knowledge storage, the possession, or the adherence to be able to access that system. So thank you for watching today, and have a wonderful day.